Thank you, Jim. I think Jason tried to steal my slide. Everybody wants that Tim track there, so yeah.
That's right.
So I'll talk through some of the activities that North Carolina has planned to commemorate Crash Responder Safety Week. The image that's being displayed on the screen right now is obviously a picture of our TIM training and development track, and is intended to give you an idea of where we will be filming a video that we're planning to produce in support of Crash Responder Safety Week. And I'll provide some additional detail or information regarding that video shoot near the end of the presentation. Next slide. These are the activities that we have planned for November 14 through 18. In regard to the social media outreach, after several recent struck bys here in North Carolina, we partnered with the North Carolina State Highway Patrol in mid-August to bring a renewed awareness to our move over law. We had an IMAT responder who is our Safety Service Patrol responders who was assisting a stranded motorist. And obviously he was struck, as well as a trooper who was investigating a crash. And they both participated in an interview describing their struck by incident. We included this video of the crash responder vehicles and ran a clip on our social media platforms, as well as within our local media markets. We plan to use that video again in a very similar way, and we'll follow up with the patrol and see if they will post it to their social media platform so that we can have an even broader audience and a greater reach. The next item we have is Governor's Proclamation. This is either our second or third year requesting and receiving a proclamation from the governor of North Carolina. Not sure how long it would take in other states to process the proclamation, but here in North Carolina, due to a lot of staffing shortages, it takes them about 120 days to process the request. So I say that to say, if you're looking to do something like that in your state, I suggest reaching out now and reaching out directly to your governor's office if you have a contact there, and see if they can expedite proclamation for your state and for Crash Responder Week. The next item is local television newspaper stories. As I mentioned earlier, we plan to use the IMAT responder trooper video. They were very deliberate in speaking about their incident. Both of them sustained minor injuries, but it made a real impact to folks that were watching the videos. So we will definitely use that again. As well, we'll use some of our other videos that we've used in previous years to kind of spread the message as well. Messages on DMS, our message boards, obviously when they're not in use to warn motorists of incidents, we have a few canned move over messages that we will display throughout the week. And then finally, the press release and web presence. I'm not sure how many folks that are on this webinar have seen the video that North Carolina released a number of years ago, probably 2008, 2009, where a car came crashing through an office to simulate cars speeding through a work zone. So for 2022, Crash Responder Week, we plan to dust it off, refresh the concept for today's time, and shoot a video that will again feature a staged office setting on our freeway section of our track, which was the first slide that was displayed. We'll have all of our responder agencies that respond or potentially respond to the scene of an incident to drive through that area where the offices will be set up. And we'll also have office personnel kind of milling around like they would in a normal office setting to make it a little bit more realistic. Obviously, we haven't fully developed our tagline yet, but I can assure you it would be a good one. And if you go to the next slide, Kevin. We have about 5 different scenarios that we're going to kind of play with and see which one we want to use for this video shoot. And the first being, as you see there on the scene, the 2 green rectangles depict the office that will be set up, and then you have all the responder vehicles lined up, and they will travel through that area, simulating, again, an office will have some partitions or something out there. In all likelihood, desk will be set up, and we'll have folks seated behind the desk, and then have just some folks milling around as they would in an office setting. We'll have our IMAP units, Safety Service Patrol, we'll have the Highway Patrol, EMS, local PD, fire, towing, utilities, any and everybody that would potentially respond to a crash or incident scene. Then we will have those folks participate in this video. Next slide. This is another scenario that we're planning to kind of walk through again to see which one is going to be the best for the video, to get our best depiction of what we want to convey to the public. So this one is a taper that's set up at the scene of an incident. The responders will drive close to the taper, near where the 2 desks will be located. Next slide, please. That's a third scenario where the responders will actually drive through the taper to get to the scene of the incident. Again, the 2 desks set up top right of the screen there. Next scenario, or next slide. And then this is another scenario where the responders drive behind the desk. Obviously, safety is going to be first and foremost. It's not going to be very high speed, but we do want to get the message out there and convey it in a way that the motorists and the public will fully appreciate. Now, next slide. And that's just what we'll have all of our responders staged so we can get a really good video and photo of all responders who will be participating in a video shoot. And then obviously, as part of our response this year, we will use some of the press releases that have been posted in the past by FHWA, and I think Jim is going to talk through some of those today. So we will definitely pull some of those and tailor those to the needs of North Carolina. So we will steal some of that from FHWA. And as a final point, to highlight how irresponsible and careless drivers are in regard to responder safety. Last week, one of our local departments, Knightdale Police Department, sponsored a move over campaign in commemoration of Officer Ryan Hayworth, who was killed in the line of duty in October 2021. They invited all of the agencies surrounding their jurisdiction. I think there was a total of about 30 officers on scene, including our IMAP responders. And within 2 hours, they issued 133 move over violations. So that's just how egregious things are here, not only in North Carolina, but I'm sure throughout the country. And I think that's going to do it for me, Jim.